Doctors had already said the words everyone feared, and once spoken, they hung in the air like a final verdict. There's nothing more we can do. When Michael heard that sentence, he felt something inside him go quiet, not hope, not love, but fear. The kind of fear that grips a father when he looks at his child and realizes the world has decided to give up on her. 8-year-old Lily lay on the hospital bed, her thin legs still, her eyes bright but tired, watching him with a small, brave smile that broke his heart every single time. Michael was a single father by circumstance, not choice. His wife Anna had died 3 years earlier from a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise Lily. Anna had been Lily's anchor, gentle, patient, endlessly hopeful. When Lily was diagnosed with a rare neurological condition that slowly stole strength from her legs, Anna had been the one whispering prayers late at night, promising their daughter that God still had a plan. After Anna's death, Michael tried to be both parents, but some nights, grief and exhaustion overwhelmed him. Lily had once been a whirlwind of energy. She loved running through the backyard, chasing butterflies, and pretending she was an explorer discovering new worlds. The first time she fell and couldn't get back up on her own, Michael told himself it was nothing. Children fall all the time, but the falls became frequent, then frightening. Soon, Lily needed help standing, then a walker, then a wheelchair. And finally, a hospital room filled with machines, specialists, and quiet conversations behind closed doors. They had gone everywhere. Famous hospitals, renowned specialists, billionaire doctors whose names appeared in magazines and medical journals. Michael sold his car, drained his savings, and worked double shifts as a warehouse supervisor to pay for treatments that promised hope but delivered only disappointment. Each doctor spoke with polished sympathy, explaining complex terms and offering experimental options that never changed the outcome. Lily's condition progressed. Her legs no longer responded the way they used to. One evening, as rain streaked down the hospital window, Lily reached for Michael's hand. "Daddy," she asked softly, "am I ever going to walk again?" Michael swallowed hard. He wanted to lie, he wanted to promise miracles, but he remembered Anna's voice, always gentle, always honest. He squeezed Lily's hand. "I don't know, sweetheart," he said, his voice breaking, "but I promise you something. I will never stop trying, not ever." Lily smiled. "That's okay," she said, "as long as you're with me." Those words stayed with him long after Lily fell asleep. That night, Michael sat alone in the hospital chapel. He hadn't prayed much since Anna died. Anger had replaced faith, questions replacing trust. But with his head bowed and tears falling freely, he whispered, "God, I don't need answers. I just need strength. Show me what to do." The next day, Lily was discharged with a familiar routine: medications, physical therapy appointments, and instructions to manage expectations. Michael nodded politely, but something inside him refused to accept that this was the end of the road. He didn't have medical degrees or money, but he had time, love, and stubborn determination. At home, Michael turned their small living room into a makeshift therapy space. He studied physical therapy videos late into the night after Lily slept. He read about neuroplasticity, muscle memory, and alternative rehabilitation techniques. He reached out to support groups, other parents who had refused to give up. Some stories ended in heartbreak. Others ended in quiet victories, small gains that meant everything. Every morning before school, Michael helped Lily through gentle exercises. They laughed when she got frustrated. They cried when progress seemed invisible. Some days, Lily refused to try, her spirit heavy with disappointment. On those days, Michael didn't push. He sat beside her, reminding her of who she was beyond her illness. One evening, Lily found an old photo album. She flipped through pictures of her and Anna baking cookies, planting flowers, dancing in the kitchen. Her eyes filled with tears. "Mom would know what to do," she whispered. Michael pulled her close. "Your mom believed in miracles," he said, "but she also believed in effort. She believed that love is strongest when things are hardest." From that day on, Lily insisted on calling their sessions Mom's Time. They prayed before starting, just like Anna used to. Slowly, something began to change, not in Lily's legs at first, but in her spirit. She stopped asking when she would walk again and started focusing on what she could do today. Weeks turned into months. There were setbacks, days when Lily's legs shook too much to even attempt standing. Michael worried constantly about money, about time, about failing his daughter. Some nights he collapsed into bed, his body aching, his mind racing with doubt. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. Michael was in the kitchen when he heard a thud from the living room. Panic surged through him as he rushed in. Lily was on the floor, her wheelchair tipped slightly to the side, but she wasn't crying. She was laughing, laughing in disbelief. "Daddy," she said, her voice trembling. I stood up. Michael froze. "What?" "I fell," she said, "but for a second, just a second, I was standing." Michael dropped to his knees and pulled her into his arms, tears streaming down his face. It wasn't a miracle yet. It wasn't walking. But it was hope, real and undeniable. From that moment, everything changed. They celebrated tiny victories, standing for 2 seconds, then 5, then 10. Michael reinforced exercises carefully, always mindful not to push too far. He listened to Lily's body, her mood, her fears. Their bond grew stronger, forged in shared struggle and unwavering trust. Word spread slowly among neighbors and church members. Some offered encouragement, others offered skepticism. "Don't get your hopes too high," they warned. Michael nodded politely but kept going. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing possibility. One Sunday, Lily insisted on attending church. Michael wheeled her inside, feeling the familiar mix of pride and sadness. During the final hymn, Lily tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy," she whispered, "can you help me stand?" Michael hesitated. The floor was crowded. People were watching, but Lily's eyes were steady, determined. He positioned himself beside her, supporting her gently as she pushed against the armrests of her wheelchair. Slowly, painfully, Lily rose. The music continued, unaware that something extraordinary was happening. Lily stood, shaking, unsteady but upright. The congregation fell silent. Someone gasped. Michael felt his knees weaken as he realized his daughter was standing in a room full of witnesses, not for applause but for herself. After church, a woman approached them, tears streaming down her face. Her name was Sarah. She was Lily's mother. Sarah had left years earlier, overwhelmed by Lily's diagnosis and the strain it put on her marriage. Fear had driven her away, and guilt had kept her distant. She had followed Lily's progress from afar, afraid to return, afraid she had forfeited the right to hope. "I didn't think I deserved to see this," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "But when I heard, I had to come." Michael felt anger rise, sharp and sudden. Years of silence, years of absence. But he looked at Lily, who was smiling softly at her mother, and he swallowed his resentment. Sarah knelt in front of Lily. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I was weak when you needed me." Lily reached out and touched her face. "I missed you," she said simply. That was when Sarah collapsed into tears, not dramatic, not loud, but deep, shaking sobs that came from a place of regret and overwhelming emotion. She had returned expecting to see a broken child. Instead, she saw strength. She saw resilience. She saw the proof of what love and perseverance could do. In the weeks that followed, Sarah slowly re-entered Lily's life. Not as a savior, not as a hero, but as a mother learning to be present again. Michael remained cautious but open. Healing, he realized, came in many forms. Lily continued improving. She didn't suddenly run or dance, but she took steps, with support, then with braces, then with a walker. Each step was celebrated like a miracle. The billionaire doctors had said it was impossible. They had measured success in charts and statistics. Michael had measured it in laughter, tears, and moments no scan could capture. One evening, as the sun set outside their window, Lily took 3 unassisted steps toward Michael. She fell into his arms, both of them crying and laughing at the same time. "I did it, Daddy," she whispered. Michael held her tightly. "You did," he said. "You never gave up." Years later, Lily would tell her story not as a tale of medical triumph, but of love, of a father who refused to surrender to fear, of a mother who found her way back, of faith that didn't erase pain but carried them through it. And Michael learned something too, that miracles don't always look like sudden healing. Sometimes they look like daily effort, like staying when it's easier to leave, like believing in your child when the world has stopped believing.